Why spend $25,000 on a Harley when Honda delivers more for half the price? In 2026, the math Harley cannot solve becomes the reason riders walk away. Honda is flooding showrooms with lighter frames, smarter tech, and aggressive price tags that strip away Milwaukee's last excuse. Watch till the end, because this breakdown shows how Honda rewrote the equation so completely that Harley's brand loyalty looks less like pride and more like financial denial. The math Harley can't survive. For decades, Harley leaned on identity, chrome, and a price tag that suggested loyalty was priceless. But in 2026, Honda is flooding showrooms with gas-powered machines that rewrite the equation. Riders see price, weight, horsepower, and features, and Honda wins every column. Think of a touring Harley that starts at $25,000. Then look across the aisle and see Honda lining up 10 different machines, all undercutting that figure by thousands, sometimes by half. Honda's catalog is not only broad, it is layered with technology that Harley either does not offer or locks behind premium models. Dual-clutch transmissions, 6-axis inertial measurement units, ride modes, and featherlight frames now arrive in bikes costing $12,000 or less. The numbers sting hardest because they strip away Harley's old pitch. No matter how iconic the badge, no rider wants to overpay for yesterday's engineering when a rival is giving them tomorrow's ride at today's price. This is not nostalgia fading. This is riders doing math, and Harley cannot solve the equation. Honda's lineup does not just compete, it exposes Harley's weakness. When riders discover they can get more speed, less weight, and advanced safety features for nearly half the cost, brand loyalty looks less like pride and more like financial denial. And Honda's cheapest touring bike? That is the real humiliation. Touring Rewritten, the NT 1100. Harley's $25,000 tourer just got undercut by half. Honda's NT 1100 is the blunt instrument that makes it possible. At just under $12,000, this touring machine borrows the heart of the proven Africa twin engine and adds refinements Harley riders never expected at that price. Weighing under 550 pounds, the NT 1100 is almost 300 pounds lighter than Harley's entry-level tourers. That means less fatigue, easier parking lot maneuvers, and real agility in city traffic. The dual-clutch transmission eliminates clutch lever strain and lets the rider choose between effortless automatic cruising or paddle shift precision. Supporting it all is a 6-axis inertial measurement unit that manages traction, braking, and lean angles, with an intelligence Harley simply does not offer in this price band. Comfort was not ignored. The NT 1100 comes with an adjustable windscreen, heated grips, and a wide padded seat. Fuel efficiency is another blow, stretching close to 50 miles per gallon, while most Harleys struggle to clear 38. The difference is range, cost, and freedom. For touring riders, the calculation becomes even clearer. Why spend $25,000 on a heavier Harley when Honda delivers superior range, comfort, and intelligence for under half that? Riders are not just switching, they are questioning whether Harley's value proposition ever made sense. But raw touring was not Honda's sharpest knife. The naked bike was. If this breakdown already opened your eyes, hit the like button. It helps this video reach more riders. Drop a comment too. Would you pick Honda's smarter move or stick with Harley's tradition? Your take could spark the next debate. Street domination. The CB 1000 Hornet SP. What if Harley's street fighters look outdated next year? That is the question Honda's CB 1000 Hornet SP forces onto the table. At just $10,999, it brings a superbike-derived inline-4 engine into the naked class and detonates Harley's value proposition. The Hornet SP produces 155 horsepower at high revs, backed by 79 pound-feet of torque. That translates into 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds, quicker than most Harleys, costing nearly twice as much. The 6-speed gearbox with a quick shifter and slipper clutch makes every shift razor-sharp, while the fully adjustable Showa front forks and Brembo brakes turn city streets into a proving ground. Weight is another assassin. At 467 pounds, the Hornet SP cuts through traffic where Harley's heavier frames feel cumbersome. Add throttle-by-wire, multiple ride modes, and a 5-inch TFT screen with smartphone integration. And it is clear this is not just another naked bike, it is a statement. The Hornet SP is not a toy, it is a statement. It tells riders they can demand world-class performance without doubling their mortgage. Every mile ridden on this bike reminds Harley fans that they paid more for far less substance. Performance per dollar is the disruption. For less than the price of a used Sportster, Honda offers a machine that rewrites speed, handling, and tech in one stroke. And just when Harley thought prestige still sold, Honda redefined luxury too. Performance demands protection. Check the description for helmets, armored jackets, and gloves that keep up with speed. The luxury coup, Goldwing Tour DCT, Harley's most premium tourer, just got embarrassed. For years, the Ultra Limited was pitched as the throne of long-distance comfort. Then Honda rolled in with the Goldwing Tour DCT, carrying the quiet authority of an 1,833 cubic centimeter flat-six engine and technology that makes Harley's top end look dated. The Goldwing glides forward with 126 horsepower delivered like a private jet, smooth, refined, and utterly confident. Its 7-speed dual-clutch transmission shifts with fingertip paddles or runs seamlessly in automatic mode. And then comes walking mode, letting this heavyweight glide itself into tight parking spaces, something Harley riders have only dreamed of. The double wishbone front suspension erases bumps before the rider even feels them. Storage is massive, over 110 liters compared to Harley's 67. A 7-inch TFT display integrates Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, never glitching the way Harley's infotainment often does. Heated seats, heated grips, and wind protection turn marathon rides into first-class journeys. Even loyal Harley owners admit the Goldwing feels like stepping into the future while their bikes cling to the past. Luxury once meant tradition and chrome. Now it means technology, efficiency, and comfort. Categories where Honda controls the entire scoreboard. Here is the knockout. All of this lands at $29,700, still thousands less than Harley's flagship. More power, more comfort, more technology, and still cheaper. But Honda was not just attacking Harley's roads, they went off-road too. Passport to anywhere. NX500. What if a $7,999 bike could ride circles around Harley in the city in the dirt? That is exactly what the Honda NX500 promises. Slim, lightweight, and approachable, this machine opens doors Harley never bothered to unlock. At only 432 pounds, it feels less like a bulky cruiser and more like a passport stamped for every road surface. The parallel twin delivers 47 horsepower, steady on the highway, smooth in traffic, and surprisingly capable on gravel climbs. Paired with a 6-speed gearbox and a slipper clutch, the ride is forgiving to beginners, yet rewarding to seasoned riders who want agility without intimidation. Fuel economy stretches above 60 miles per gallon, giving over 200 miles of range, while Harley's larger twins gulp gas like a weekend habit. Technology keeps the NX500 modern. A crisp TFT screen with smartphone connectivity, traction control, and LED headlights provide confidence, not clutter. And then there is the price. For less than a used Harley Sportster, new riders get a machine that welcomes them into motorcycling instead of scaring them away. What makes the NX500 dangerous is not just versatility, it is empowerment. New riders see freedom without intimidation, a machine that says yes to every road. Harley never built that bridge, and Honda seized the opportunity to welcome everyone. But Honda did not stop at entry. The Middleweight is the real revolution. The Middleweight that eats markets, Transalp XL 750. The bike Harley refuses to build is the one riders cannot stop buying. That is the Transalp XL 750, Honda's return to middleweight adventure dominance. Costing just $9,999, it hits the sweet spot between approachability and muscle. Harley has no true competitor here, leaving this segment wide open for Honda to own. At 459 pounds, the Transalp feels light yet planted. Its 755 cubic centimeter parallel twin produces 90 horsepower, balanced by Showa suspension tuned to soak up punishment without dulling control. Spoked wheels, 21 inches in front and 18 inches at the rear make it equally at home clawing up a mountain pass or slicing through city lanes. A 5-inch TFT dash with Honda Road Sync adds navigation, calls, and ride modes usually reserved for pricier bikes. The range pushes beyond 250 miles, supported by a 4.5-gallon tank, proving long-distance adventure does not require heavyweight frames. More importantly, the Transalp normalizes adventure as mainstream. Commuters can use it daily, then stretch into the wild on weekends. Harley's catalog stops where the pavement ends. Honda's keeps going. The Transalp also signals Honda's willingness to lead, not follow. By normalizing adventure bikes at under $10,000, Honda reframes motorcycling as lifestyle utility, not weekend hobby. That cultural shift is what Harley never recognized until it was already losing ground, and then Honda blurred commuting and adventure in one shot. The Everyday Assassin, NC750X. This is the bike that kills Harley's weekend-only image. Honda's NC750X does not roar for attention. Instead, it slips into everyday life with precision. At under $10,500, it combines the practicality of a weekday commuter with the soul of a weekend tourer. That dual identity is what makes it lethal. The 745 cubic centimeter parallel twin focuses on usable torque, not bragging rights. Power delivery is calm in traffic, yet spirited on back roads. Riders can choose Honda's dual-clutch transmission for effortless automatic cruising or fingertip manual control. But the real secret weapon is storage. Where the gas tank would be, the NC750X hides a cavernous 22-liter compartment, large enough for a helmet, groceries, or even a laptop. Add in over 60 miles per gallon and a range beyond 220 miles, and suddenly this motorcycle becomes an everyday tool as well as a weekend escape. Harley's lineup cannot match this versatility. Their cruisers demand commitment. Honda offers convenience without compromise. The NC750X is more than a bike. It is a lifestyle correction. It proves that motorcycles can handle both errands and escapes, turning practicality into power. Harley insists on passion purchases. Honda delivers daily value riders can feel. But Honda was not done stealing riders at the very first step. Gatekeepers stolen, Rebel 500 and Shadow Phantom. The pipeline Harley built for beginners? Honda owns it now. For decades, the Sportster was the gateway to Harley culture. But by 2026, the Honda Rebel 500 and Shadow Phantom have replaced that role, undercutting Harley on price, weight, and confidence. The Rebel 500, at $6,799, lowers the barrier of entry with a 414-pound frame and a seat height just over 27 inches. It delivers 46 horsepower through a parallel twin that is forgiving to learn on yet capable on highways. For new riders, it makes the cruiser lifestyle accessible without the intimidation of a heavy Harley. The Shadow Phantom takes a different route, offering a classic V-twin thump with shaft drive simplicity. At $8,499, it brings traditional cruiser character without the constant belt replacements or costly service intervals Harley riders accept as normal. Its reputation for reliability is the final nail. These machines last, while many Harleys demand rebuilds far earlier. For decades, the Sportster was the handshake into Harley culture. Now Honda has rewritten the handshake entirely. Affordable, approachable, and reliable. The Rebel and Shadow let riders build identity without debt. That makes Honda's entry bikes not just alternatives, but replacements. Together, the Rebel and Shadow intercept Harley's entry pipeline. Instead of buying into Milwaukee culture, riders begin and stay within Honda's ecosystem. And if Harley is losing the young, the numbers show they are losing everyone else too. Harley's age trap. What if America's most iconic cruiser is aging faster than its buyers? That is the uncomfortable truth Harley Davidson cannot outrun. The brand's median customer age sits in the mid-40s, and every year it creeps higher. Harley was once the bike for rebels. Now it is the bike for retirees. Honda does not carry that cultural baggage. A Rebel 500 appeals to a 22-year-old buying their first motorcycle. A Goldwing Tour DCT draws a 60-year-old seeking comfort without sacrificing technology. In between, Honda's lineup covers nearly every niche, making age irrelevant. Harley has heritage, but heritage now reads as heavy, expensive, and outdated. This is the perception trap. Harley believes it sells freedom, but much of the market sees it as a luxury toy for older buyers. Honda, by contrast, positions its motorcycles as practical tools of daily life, machines you can commute with, tour with, or explore with. That difference is not just branding, it is survival. The image gap grows wider each year. Younger riders view Harley as their parents' dream, not their own. Honda fills that cultural void with bikes that feel current, accessible, and exciting, ensuring the next generation belongs to their brand. The problem for Harley is not simply an older customer base. It is that younger riders no longer aspire to buy into the Harley identity. They see better options sooner, cheaper, and lighter. That shift drains the pipeline of future loyalists. But the age debate is nothing compared to the sales collapse. Numbers don't lie, Harley's shrinking shipments. And that decision did not just backfire, it exploded on the balance sheet. In the second quarter of 2025, Harley's global motorcycle shipments fell by over 50%. The company delivered fewer than 100,000 motorcycles worldwide, compared to Honda moving more than 400,000 units in the United States alone. The gap is staggering. Honda spreads its production across commuter bikes, touring machines, and adventure platforms. Harley concentrates on big cruisers and premium tourers, which narrows the funnel. That business model may have worked when riders accepted the loyalty tax. But in 2026, when a Honda NC 750X or NT 1100 offers more technology for half the price, the math is unforgiving. Revenue followed the same path downward. Premium-only sales cannot cover the volume collapse. Investors see declining shipments, shrinking market share, and an aging demographic. That combination looks less like stability and more like erosion. Numbers strip away sentiment. Harley cannot hide behind brand mystique when analysts can see falling units and rising discounts. And the harshest part? Every unit Harley loses is a unit Honda gains, because Honda's catalog directly targets those abandoned riders. Behind the numbers lies an uncomfortable truth. Harley has priced itself out of resilience. When economies tighten, riders abandon premium indulgences first. Honda's broad, affordable lineup ensures steady momentum even when markets wobble. Harley has no safety net, only exposure. But Honda's secret is not just numbers, it is psychology. You've seen how fast Honda is closing in, but we're only scratching the surface. Subscribe right now so you don't miss the next chapter, because the bikes, the brands, and the future of riding are shifting faster than anyone admits. The DCT conversion trap. Here is the feature that turns test rides into trade-ins. Honda's dual-clutch transmission is a quiet revolution in motorcycling. By removing the clutch lever entirely, it eliminates one of the biggest barriers to entry. New riders no longer worry about stalling in traffic. Older riders no longer battle clutch fatigue in city commutes. Riders of every background can step onto a Honda and feel confident immediately. That single feature has converted thousands. Dealerships report that once riders test Honda's DCT system, many do not want to return to manual shifting. And when they look back at Harley's heavy V-twins with tall clutches and narrow gearboxes, the contrast feels prehistoric. What was once a proud skill becomes a needless burden. This is more than convenience, it is psychology. By lowering intimidation, Honda expands the pool of riders. By removing fatigue, it extends riding years. And by making shifting adaptive with paddle controls and multiple ride modes, it creates a sense of personalization that Harley cannot replicate. DCT is not just a feature, it is a weapon. It converts curious onlookers into Honda loyalists in one afternoon. Harley has no answer, and each test ride lost is a pipeline lost. DCT also erases ego barriers. Riders who once avoided motorcycles for fear of embarrassment now walk confidently into Honda showrooms. That shift grows the total market, but only for Honda. Harley's refusal to adapt locks it out of the future. And if tech rewired riders, Honda's upgrade ladder rewires the market itself. The adventure ladder. Honda did not sell bikes. They built an upgrade path Harley cannot match. A rider might start with the NX500, learn confidence, and soon crave longer range and more power. That naturally leads to the Transalp XL750. After mastering that, the Africa Twin CRF 1100 becomes the pinnacle, a machine for global exploration. At every step, Honda has the next level waiting. This is not just smart marketing, it is structural. Honda created a ladder where riders stay within the brand for decades, trading up as their skills, ambitions, and budgets grow. Harley lacks this entirely. Their catalog does not bridge the gap between entry bikes and heavyweight tourers. Riders must either commit early to a big, expensive Harley or look elsewhere. Increasingly, they look at Honda. The adventure ladder also rewires the meaning of freedom. It no longer belongs only to highways and parades. It now includes dirt trails, mountain passes, and everyday commutes. That broader definition pulls in riders Harley cannot reach and locks them into Honda's orbit. When the upgrade path is this seamless, Harley's culture-first approach collapses. Riders want evolution, not stagnation. Honda's ladder is more than convenience. It is culture building. Each upgrade feels like leveling up, rewarding riders for staying loyal. Harley cannot replicate this because its range lacks progression. In the long game, loyalty favors the brand that evolves with you. And when Honda tightened the noose, the shockwaves went far beyond showrooms. Platform chess, Honda's hidden play. This was not a lineup, it was a system. Honda's 2026 catalog looks like a flood of models, but behind the curtain lies a single playbook. Shared parallel twin architectures, modular electronics, and interchangeable frames. That strategy makes Honda's bikes cheaper to build, faster to update, and easier to scale. The NX500, Transalp XL750, and Africa Twin CRF 1100 all share the same design DNA. Parts flow between models, electronics overlap, and engines sit on common platforms. Dealers can stock fewer unique components, cutting costs. Honda can build multiple bikes on the same production line, raising efficiency. Harley, by contrast, relies on bespoke frames and engines that require longer refresh cycles and higher costs. This platform approach is not glamorous, but it is devastating. It allows Honda to iterate quickly, keeping technology fresh while Harley struggles through multi-year development timelines. And when consumers compare bikes side by side, they are not comparing heritage. They are comparing features that Honda can roll out faster and cheaper. This was never about one model. It was about turning Honda's global footprint into a machine Harley cannot match. For riders, that means even entry-level Hondas carry engineering lessons borrowed from flagship machines. It is a trickle-down effect Harley cannot match, and it makes Honda's entire catalog feel more advanced without demanding higher prices from everyday buyers. And when a company wins with scale, politicians always notice. The political battleground. In 2026, horsepower will not matter. Tariffs will. As trade wars simmer, governments look at sourcing, labor costs, and national production. Honda plays that game with a global factory network. Harley does not. Honda can shift production between Thailand, Japan, and American facilities, smoothing over tariff shocks. Their financing arms stretch across continents, giving them leverage with banks and regulators. Harley, bound to limited manufacturing in the United States and selective partnerships abroad, has fewer levers to pull. That rigidity turns every tariff into a wound and every policy shift into a crisis. Politicians, meanwhile, see Honda's scale as both opportunity and threat. Local lawmakers court Honda for jobs and investment. At the same time, American officials lean on Harley as a symbol of domestic pride. This tension forces Harley into a corner. Lean on government protection or risk being swallowed by a competitor too large to block. Policy fights are never about motorcycles alone. They are about economic symbolism. And in 2026, Honda looks like efficiency, while Harley looks like fragility. But the angriest response will not come from politicians. It will come from the factory floor. The labor revolt. When workers realize where demand is going, the picket signs change. Harley's reliance on fewer high-priced models leaves its factories vulnerable to downturns. Lower volume means fewer shifts. Premium pricing means fewer buyers. That squeeze lands directly on union halls and dealership floors. Honda's model is the opposite. More throughput, more mid-market volume, more consistent demand. Their factories in the United States can feed steady production, and their international network cushions shocks. That leaves Harley's workers watching as Honda's plants hum while their own jobs sit on the line. Dealers feel it too. Honda's broad range offers entry bikes, commuters, and premium tourers, machines that pull in steady showroom traffic. Harley dealers depend on one or two premium models that sit unsold when the economy slows. That imbalance turns loyal sales networks into restless critics. Labor unrest is not just about wages. It is about survival. When Harley's identity can no longer guarantee stability, unions and dealers demand answers. The more Honda grows, the more Harley's workforce feels abandoned. That is how culture turns into conflict. And when the shop floor shifts, Wall Street panics. The investor's nightmare. The battlefield is not a racetrack, it is your budget. Investors and consumers alike are running the same math, and Honda keeps winning. Lower upfront costs, higher reliability, cheaper maintenance, and stronger resale values form a value flywheel Harley cannot replicate. Consumers see it first. A Rebel 500 undercuts Harley's Sportster by thousands. A Goldwing offers more luxury for less than Harley's Ultra Limited. Riders who once stretched finances to afford the Harley badge now calculate differently. They choose Honda because it leaves money in their pocket. Investors follow the same trail. Honda's broad catalog, global production, and platform efficiency look like stability. Harley's declining shipments, aging demographics, and limited model range look like risk. Stock analysts downgrade expectations, while Honda becomes a safer long-term play. Cash flow beats culture every time. This is not just about motorcycles. It is about trust. Riders, workers, and investors are all deciding whether Harley's story still has a future. Honda's numbers say it does not. But Honda is not finished, because once they set the rules, every gas-powered rival must play by them. They said Harley's heritage would last forever. But tonight, you saw how quickly forever can end. Honda isn't just competing, it's rewriting the future of riding. Share this with every rider you know, and subscribe, because the next revelation will shake the road even harder.